Welcome to day number 8 of your 10-day challenge. Today, we're going to safely cross the railroad tracks. Yes, we're going to approach the railroad crossing. What we're going to learn today is an E blues scale that goes both horizontal and vertical, hence the railroad crossing terminology. And of course, if you want to participate in this 10-day challenge, it is super easy. All you have to do is follow 3 simple steps. Step number 1, go to weplayeveryday.com. Step number 2, click join the Facebook group. And step number 3, go ahead and click the course guide. It's pinned right to the top of the group. It has all of the necessary details that you need to know, from past replays, tabs, and all the nitty-gritty. And of course, this is day 8 of the 10-day challenge, and I am so pumped because there has been so many small wins, there have been so many light bulb moments, and so much just really awesome, solid positivity focused around learning new stuff, kind of getting out of our comfort zone, and of course, I want other guitar geeks to experience that as well. So right now, as you're watching this live stream, I want you to share this with your guitar geek friends. It's super simple. All you have to do is click on the live streaming video, and then in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the little share button. Click share, and then when that little pop-up window comes up, go ahead and click post, and that will let all your guitar geeks know that you're having a blast and invite them, of course, to have a blast as well. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started today. My name is Tony Policastro. I'm part of an underground group of acoustic guitar enthusiasts you've probably never heard of. We're not here to play face-melting guitar solos or judge other guitar players. Our purpose is much greater than that. For us, it's about expanding our quality of life through music and having fun with our guitar, not just mastering it. Getting better at guitar is proof that we do have what it takes to be a guitar player, which means we can build stronger bonds with friends and create lasting musical family traditions. But if you asked a guitar snob or a music academic, they would turn up their nose and say their way is better. Yet this way of seeing the guitar is changing lives every single day. We follow a specific framework and set of values that keeps us focused on what matters most: human connection, constant progress, and fun. It's happening, and we call it living the acoustic life. This is our acoustic life, and these are our stories. Welcome officially to day number 8 of your 10-day challenge. I cannot believe it's been 8 days already. There's been just a wave of positive momentum building, and today is going to continue that, because today we're going to work on some scales, some scale work, and use those scales to actually improvise. And speaking of improvisation, the 2 kings of improvisation are joining me today. None other than Sir Noah Jacob Heckman Jr., the first, and of course, Levi Coila, the man with a technical plan. These folks are matching in the blue color, Noah. And so am I.
Levi.
It was it's a blue day here today.
Well,
it's blue.
You are playing the blues, if I
am.
recall.
And this was not discussed previous to us starting this today, but apparently we're having a mind meld. Our wardrobes are pretty much identical. Anyways, moving on. Noah, are there comments, shout-outs we can give right now? Are people in there chatting?
People are in.
Awesome.
We've got Ian, of course. There are definitely the of courses that are here, yeah. And I love it. I look forward to seeing them every day. Larry, Sean, Ed, Jolie, Raitas, if I said that correctly, forgive me, Brian, Charles, Dustin, Mark, Mary, Rob, Charles, Scotty, Todd, Pat, Barry, Nelson, Greg, Al, Scott.
Sounds like a bunch of guitar geeks to me.
Oh, yeah, every single one of them.
Yeah.
So, if I may.
You may, Levi.
So, Tony has been a bit under the weather. Today's a good day.
Today's a great day.
Yeah, things are getting awesome. But still, I think you can always be fueled by hearts and likes.
Well, there's a sneeze lurking. I'm a little concerned that the sneeze might come out during today's lesson, and I'm not sure when or where, but it's there. I'm trying to fight it off. But hearts and likes, of course, keep it away.
And you know what? What's like it's like echinacea is like sharing this video will basically completely fix Tony, and tomorrow he'll be free of his cold if you share this video.
Correct. And not only is Levi Coila the man with the technical plan, he also is a doctor, and he just doesn't play one on the internet. He's a real official doctor that has the greatest prescriptions.
Okay, before you do your thing,
yes,
can we get some likes and hearts for the fact that so far today, technology-wise, everything actually is working and going according to plan. This is amazing. It's a good day. And thanks for your patience, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yesterday, and so, yeah.
Yeah, well, let's dive into today's lesson, shall we? It is day number 8, and of course, all throughout this live 10-day challenge, we have been following the Tony's Acoustic Challenge practice framework. Meaning, Mondays we focus on a warm-up, Tuesdays a lick, Wednesdays today we'll learn a scale and use that to improvise. Tomorrow we'll focus on some rhythm guitar, and then Friday we'll focus on chords within a key and kind of some interesting combinations of chords, if you will. And of course, today being Wednesday, we will be focusing on a scale and using that scale to solo or improvise with. And tomorrow, if you happen to like the rhythm that I play for you today, tomorrow we're going to actually dig into that. I'm going to show you, teach you that rhythm, and also share with you some modifications that you can make to it to make it even more bluesy and mojo infused. So here's how this is going to work. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you the scale. I'll first play it just to kind of give you an idea of the whole scope of what you're going to be learning. And then I'll break it up into little chunks. We'll go ahead and learn that scale. And then I'm going to actually play a rhythm for you. And I'm going to loop it for, I don't know, as long as I possibly can. So you can actually use that scale to improvise with. And then I'll share with you some tips and things on how to get started with improvisation if you're new to it, and also some tips and tricks that you can use if you've played for a while and you're looking for some kind of new perspective on improvisation. So that's how it's going to roll today. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started with today's challenge. All right, today we're focusing on the blues. Today we are in the key of E, and today I've entitled the scales that you're going to be using Railroad Crossing, because they actually move along the guitar in both a vertical fashion and a horizontal fashion. And this is one key concept before I even show you the scale that I want you to start thinking about, at least have in the back of your mind as we go through the lesson today, because so often we're focused on scale shapes, like, right? That's a scale shape, and then we move over here and we have another scale shape, right? But there's actually those are what I would refer to as vertical shapes, meaning they go from string to string. But there's also horizontal shapes as well, meaning that you stay on a single string. So it's nice to have those two different perspectives on how to learn scales, and that's exactly what today's scale pattern is going to go over. Now, I'm going to go ahead and play this for you just so you get a vibe of what it sounds like, and then we'll go ahead and learn it chunk by chunk, and in this case, actually shape by shape. So here's the whole thing, and of course, if you want to follow along with the tablature, it's super easy. There's a comment pinned to the top of this particular video. It's actually right beneath the video. There's a link that will allow you to download the tab, and then go ahead and follow along with today's exercise. So here's what today's exercise sounds like. So a lot of guitar neck is going to get covered today, but I don't want you to think of the whole entire thing. Okay, we're going to actually divvy this up into 3 sections. Actually, we'll do 4 sections just to make it a little bit easier. And first of all, technique-wise, what I'm doing is alternating my thumb with my index or middle finger, depending on the scale degree or the scale note that I'm hitting. And you'll notice that the thumb is coming on the downbeat. Okay, so every time my thumb fires on that low E string, that's going to be the 1, the 2, the 3, or the 4. And every time there's an and beat, that's when I'm actually playing a scale note. So actually, I'll play through the whole thing again, or just a section, and I want you to notice that my thumb is coming down on the 1, 2, 3, or 4, and that I'm actually fretting and playing a note on the and beat. And I'll count along with it. So it'll be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, so that's kind of the general technique that I'll be using to kind of play this scale, but I don't want you to think that not only do you have to get a technique and a scale out of today's lesson. The option is there for those of you who want to get both, but really, truly, you can just focus on the technique, or you can focus on learning the scale shapes, or both. Okay, so there's a lot of different avenues you can take with today's lesson. So let's dive into these scale shapes now that we've talked about the technique. So for the scale shape, this first scale shape, I'll call this the kind of the 12th fret shape, if you will, because all of the notes seem to line right up on that 12th fret. And we're going to start, again, our thumb is going to start on that low E string, but for right now, let's just focus on the scale shape, then we'll integrate the technique. So the scale shape starts at the 12th fret of the high E string. Use your pinky to fret that. Drop your middle finger to the 10th fret of the high E. Okay. Move to the 12th fret of the B with your pinky. 10th fret of the B with your middle finger. Pinky back to the 12th fret of the G. Index finger to the 9th fret of the G. 12th fret of the D with your pinky again. Index finger going to the 9th fret of the D. Pinky to the 12th fret of the A. Middle to the 10th fret of the A. And then we're going to shift positions and have our index finger grab the 7th fret of the A. Okay, so I'm just going to play the shape now without playing the technique. Okay, so that's going to be starting on the high E, 12, 10, moving to the B, 12, 10, moving to the G, 12, 9, moving to the D, 12, 9, moving to the A, 12, 10, and then the 7th of the A. Okay, so that's our first scale shape. And this note that we end on we'll call the root, and in fact we're actually going to use that as a pivot point because that's where our next scale shape starts. But let me go ahead and integrate the technique to this very first scale shape. Now again, we're going to be starting with our thumb. Middle finger is going to pick that high E string. Back to the thumb. Middle finger picks the high E. Back to the thumb. Index finger picks the B. Back to the thumb. Back to the thumb. Index finger is going to pick the G. And fret that 9th fret on the G string, thumb, and then index finger. And then the 12th fret of the D string. 9th fret of the D string. 12th fret of the A. 10th fret of the A. And then 7th fret of the A. And again, notice that my thumb is kind of hitting those downbeats, and then the fretted notes are happening on the and. That's going to sound like this at speed. Okay. So now let's look at the second shape. Now, so far we've only gone through essentially the first 2.5 measures on the tablature. So we're starting in the middle of measure 3 here on the 7th fret of the A string. So this is going to be our next shape. It's going to go 7th fret of the A with your index, 10th fret of the A with your pinky, 7th fret of the D, index, 9th fret of the D with your ring finger, 7th fret of the G with your index, 9th fret of the G with your ring finger. Middle finger is going to reach down, grab the 8th fret of the B. Pinky goes to the 10th fret of the B. Index goes to the 7th fret of the high E. And then that pinky is going to go to the 10th fret of the high E. Okay, so that's our second shape. If you really want to finish it, you can go to the 12th fret again. Okay, so it's kind of a circular motion that we're doing here. So again, I'm going to actually, just for this second shape, know that your index finger is going to line up with the 7th fret, middle finger the 8th, ring the 9th, and pinky the 10th. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and just name the fingers as we go through the strings. So on the A string, it'll be index, pinky. D string, index, ring. G string, index, ring. B string, middle, pinky. High E string, index, pinky. Okay, and again, for fret numbers, starting on the A, 7, 10. D string, 7, 9. G string, 7, 9. B string, 8, 10. And then high E, 7, 10. Okay, and again, we'll integrate that with that same exact technique where the thumb's on the downbeat and the plucked note is, or the scale note, the fretted scale note is going to be on the and beat. So that'll sound like this. Okay, and as far as on my picking hand, what I'm doing, again, thumb is pretty much married to that low E string. The index finger is tackling the A through the B string. So it's tackling the A, the D, the G, the B. And then my middle finger is actually activating the high E string. That's how I choose to go through the scale. Again, if you're comfortable using your ring finger, maybe you'll be using your ring finger on the high E, your middle on the B, and your index finger for the other strings. That's totally fine. Okay, this is just a suggestion that I have, but by no means is it the rule. There's a lot of interpretations and a lot of ways you can play through this. So that's our second shape. Okay, so we have our first shape, our second shape, okay, and then we're actually going to reverse on this high E string. So once we fret that 10th fret of the high E, we're going to go back to the 7th fret of the high E, and then use our index finger to go all the way down that high E string. So from that 7th fret of the high E, we'll go to the 5th fret of the high E, the 3rd fret of the high E, and then the open high E. Okay, so that's that horizontal movement that I'm talking about. And again, we're kind of ending that second shape, 7, 10, and then reversing. 7, 5, 3, open. Okay. And you can actually, oh, Levi's armpit is in the way there. There we go.
Sorry about that.
we can actually do the entire E blues scale or E minor pentatonic scale on that high E string. If we start at the 12th fret, go to the 10th, 7th, 5th, 3rd, and then open. It's the same exact shape that we're playing here. Right? It's the same thing. So now that we're on an open high E string, we're going to actually descend our, well, I guess I'll call it our 4th scale shape down here in the open position. And that will be, I'll kind of pick up on the 3rd fret of the high E, and that's going to be located in the 6th measure of your tablature. Okay, that's where this pattern starts. And we'll do 3rd fret, open, move to the B string, 3rd fret, open, move to the G, 2nd fret, open, move to the D, 2nd fret, open, move to the A, 2nd fret, open, and then the low E, 3rd fret, and open. Okay, so let me just outline all of those shapes, all 4 of those shapes. It's a lot to take in. So what I'll say is if you're like, whoa, the scale thing is new to me, I can't retain all of this information. Just pick one of these shapes to focus on. Okay, I don't expect you to come away from this lesson and have all 4 committed to memory right away. Okay, so just pick one to focus on, and then maybe tomorrow, or, well, I should say after the 10-day challenge, pick the next one to focus on, okay? So don't feel overwhelmed like you have to get all of this. There's just as much improvisation you could do with one of these shapes as well as if you learned them all. So just keep that in mind. So let me go ahead and outline these shapes real quick, starting with our kind of 12th fret shape. I'll call it shape 1, and that'll go like so. And then this will be shape 2. Okay, and then we can finish it up at the 12th fret if you want. Shape 3 will be the horizontal single string shape. And then shape 4 will finish up in open position. Okay, and again, if you're like, well, how on earth am I going to ever remember all 4 of these? Don't worry about remembering all 4. Okay, just worry about one shape that you find maybe the easiest to remember. In fact, the single string shape is one that I really like a lot. In fact, it opens up a lot of doors of creativity. So keep that in mind as we move to the improvisation section of today's program, lesson, if you will. But first, let me go ahead and play this with the metronome. I'm going to play it at 60 beats per minute according to what the tab says, so you have something to follow along. And again, if the metronome isn't your thing right now, or if the metronome throws you off, don't worry about it. Just worry about knowing where the notes are, getting the notes under your fingers, and understanding these 4 separate shapes. However, if you're the type that likes to use a metronome to kind of gauge your speed and your accuracy with the tempo, this is for you. This will be at 60 beats per minute. Okay, and I'm going to play it just like on the tab. So I'll have my thumb being activated on the click of the metronome, and then in between clicks, you'll hear me play the scale note. Okay, so just go ahead and pay attention to that. So this is at 60 beats per minute. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you'll notice those last 2 notes, I just used my thumb for both of those because I kind of threw you a curveball right at the end. Those are actually quarter notes, since both of those notes end up on that low E string. Okay, so now that we have the scale, we've discussed the scale, you understand that there's actually 4 scale shapes going on here. 2 ways to approach this upcoming improvisation session. Again, I've stressed this, if you're brand new to improvisation, just pick one of those shapes that you find the easiest or the most comfortable for you right now, and use that shape. Because what I'm about to do is play for you some rhythm guitar. It's going to be a basic E blues, a 12-bar blues, that I think you'll find a really great experimentation ground for any of these scale shapes. Since these are all E minor pentatonic or E blues scale shapes, this is a great way to start practicing improvisation. And if you're like, whoa, improvisation, I don't even know if I can do that. You know, it's an intimidating word. It's an intimidating topic. Here's what I want you to do. If you're brand new to improvisation, just pick one of those shapes and play it, literally note for note. Don't even worry about the technique with the thumb. Just play it. Note for note, back and forth. And hear how it sounds against the backing track, okay? It's actually a really crucial skill to develop, is one where you're playing single notes and there's rhythm guitar happening. Okay, so we're not mimicking the rhythm guitar, we're playing single notes. So it's a very different, it's a skill that is definitely worth honing and a necessary skill to improvise, okay? Now, if you are familiar with improvising, maybe you're familiar with some of these scale shapes, that's great. This is going to be a great chance for you to experiment with the technique or with just something that you devise, maybe just an idea on your own. Maybe you find a certain lick or a certain series of notes that sounds good. Maybe you want to repeat that over and over and over again to kind of really hear how it sounds against the different chord changes. That's totally fine as well. Now, in the tab, I went ahead and staggered the notes. Right? But that doesn't mean you have to only do that. You can pinch the two together. Right? That's totally fine too. Or you can ignore the low E string altogether and just play the scale shapes. Okay? So a couple different places to start. No matter where you're at for this time that I'm playing rhythm guitar, I just want you to give it a shot. If it's just a single note through the scale, you're just kind of getting used to it, try it. If you've improvised before and you want to try this new technique, please try it. So this will be your experimentation ground, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and play a rhythm track. I'm going to do a nice slow blues. In fact, I'm not even going to use the metronome because I think I don't want that to throw anybody off or feel like you have to play it at a certain tempo. I want you to just really kind of feel it out. And one rule before I start, I know there's a lot of rules. One rule before I start is I need you, actually there's two. I need you to give yourself permission to make mistakes because they're going to happen, and that's totally okay, and use those as learning experiences, okay? Second is I want you to kind of play what you think sounds good, because the overarching rule here is that if it sounds good, it is good. If it sounds good to you, it is good. There's no reason to doubt it. If you hear it and you think, wow, I really like the way that sounds, then go with it. Okay, take it and run. So I'm going to go ahead and start this rhythm. I'm going to go through it maybe 4 or 5 times, give you a chance to really sink into it and see what can happen. And then we'll revisit after that, and I'll go ahead and hit your questions and things like that, and we'll celebrate some small wins. So this is your rhythm guitar for the day, little E blues, little 12-bar blues. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I hope you had a chance to give those scale shapes a try, one or all of them. And of course, the same is true for the technique. Now, in terms, again, of what do I do when I improvise? Where do I start? The best thing is to just play the scale shape that you're focusing on in a linear fashion, one note at a time, literally the way that it's tabbed out. And sometimes you're going to think, well, God, everything sounds the same. It just sounds like a scale then. That's okay. I want you to get used to playing those single notes over the rhythm. Okay, and then beyond that, once you feel comfortable with the scale shape, you can start maybe skipping notes. Play every other note. Play, one note and then wait. Let it just ring out. Okay, there's a lot of different things you can mess with in terms of improvisation and how to make things sound different. You have, of course, the melodic content, the actual notes that you're playing, and then introducing rhythmic content, okay? You have melodic and rhythmic, and both of those things you can vary to make interesting improvisations. In fact, the whole end of the rhythmic spectrum that's a whole can of worms. I mean, it's a whole new level of experimentation and different things you can do with the same 5 notes. The scale that we're using, each of these different shapes, there's only 5 unique notes. So there's a lot of repetition that can happen, but in that, I hope that you can find the value of introducing different rhythms, because that's what really can make things lively. So there you have it. That's your improvisation lesson for today. I would love to answer and entertain your questions. I will do my best to answer them with the utmost confidence, and if I don't know, I will certainly tell you. So, Noah, are there questions? Do we have anything?
But what I was going to say is, if there's something that you'd like to talk about, folks, if you do have a question, just remember to type in, do the hashtag question. That way we can spot it right away. And then, of course, if you have some small wins that you've had recently, even today, just throw in a hashtag small wins and let us know what it is, and then we can spot those easy peasy.
Awesome, perfect.
Lots of people loving this exercise.
Oh, good.
Some breakthroughs and having a ton of fun playing along with you. Good.
Well, one of the reasons I chose the blues specifically for this is because I think in terms of a style of music to improvise to learn to improvise to, this is a really fantastic starting point. What we're doing, I'll kind of get a little geeky with you here. First of all, the blues is a familiar style of music. Even if you don't listen to the blues directly, the song form of the blues, as well as just kind of the phrasing and the rhythm of it, is something we're familiar with. Again, even if you don't listen to blues directly, it has kind of infiltrated all musical genres. So it's really nice to have this familiar territory. Beyond that, what we're doing is taking an E minor pentatonic scale. So essentially what we're doing is we're taking 5 notes from the E minor scale. Call it an E blues scale if the pentatonic term freaks you out. But there's 5 notes, okay? We're taking the, what I'll say is the least emotionally charged notes, the quote-unquote safest notes, and saying, here, these are in the key of E, E minor pentatonic or E blues scale, and we're pairing that with the key of E chord progression, a 12-bar blues. So in essence, these two things are a match made in heaven. So it's a really wonderful, safe ground to start messing with and improvising, because it's really an outstanding way to kind of be creative and let loose. I think it's one of those things. I'll say this: that my first experience with improvisation was learning that the blues scale, and once you find the key and match it up with the key of the song, it's really it can really provide an endless amount of fun. I used to put on the Allman Brothers Eat a Peach album, excuse me, on my dad's turntable in the basement, and I literally would play. I would solo to it or improvise to it for an entire side of the record. A Mountain Jam was a whole side of the record, so it was a great nonstop place to practice improvisation. So the blues is a wonderful, very fruitful environment to practice this particular skill. So I'm glad there was a lot of people digging it. Now, again, I just want to reference again that within Tony's Acoustic Challenge, we do work on scales and improvisation. It's part of the practice framework that I referenced at the very beginning of the lesson today. Each week is we roll through that practice framework. It's pulled from the 5 essential categories of guitar improvement. You have your warm-ups, licks, scale and improv, rhythm guitar, and chord study, if you will, kind of a technical name for it. I like to call it key chords. And we rotate through those on a kind of ongoing schedule, much as we've done through the 10-day live acoustic guitar challenge we've been doing. And after we're coming to a close on the 10-day challenge, but more importantly, we're actually coming to a close on the TAC open enrollment period. Okay, so starting on Monday of this week, we opened up public enrollment for Tony's Acoustic Challenge for the first time ever, which is really, really exciting. There's been a ton of new members coming in, which is outstanding. And of course, it ends, I'm looking at the calendar here, February
Well, tomorrow.
1st. Yeah, it ends tomorrow. That's a good way to put it. So just a small window so you can come on into Tony's Acoustic Challenge and give it a try. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because from this 10-day challenge, the best place to go to keep this momentum going, to keep this same vibe going, is Tony's Acoustic Challenge. In fact, there's I did a quick walkthrough just so you can see what it looks like when you log in. When you log in, you'll go to your home page. There's a nice little calendar on the bottom that keeps track of the days that you practiced. And then up above, there's the daily exercise. You go ahead and click Start that exercise, and it'll take you to the lesson page. And once you're there, you'll just see a video right in the middle. And much like we've done here with the live 10-day challenge, is I'll go ahead and explain the exercise, and then I'll play through it at 3 different tempos. In the case of today's exercise, the lesson page will look a little different. It'll be an explanation video, the scale, and then the backing track. And it's nice because you can pick which video you want to go to, right? So if you're just coming into the exercises brand new, you probably want to take in the explanation, learn the kind of the finer points, the nitty-gritty of the exercise, and then you'll have a chance to graduate through 3 different tempos. In the case of improvisation, you'll have a chance to actually play with a backing track that loops automatically. Okay, so you can play until the cows come home. It doesn't matter. And the same is true for the other varied speed videos. On top of the lesson video, there's a place where you can download the tab right there, and there's also a place where you can download the entire lesson. Say you're going on the road and there's not going to be Wi-Fi where you're going to, but you want to maintain kind of your daily playing habit. Well, just go ahead and download the lesson and take it along with you. And last but not least, there's a favorite button. So as you go through the daily exercises on TAC, if one really stands out as one that, wow, I really like playing this, or gosh, I think I should work on this a little bit longer, go ahead and hit favorite, and then what that does is it pulls into your own collection of curated favorites, so you can start kind of tailoring your practice sessions to your liking. So it's kind of a neat little feature there. And also, in terms of, that's kind of the daily login procedure with Tony's Acoustic Challenge. Beyond that, there's actually an academy where you can go through a bunch of different courses focused on one specific thing. So say, gosh, I've finger-picked all along, but this flat-picking thing sounds pretty neat. So you go to the flat-picking course, and once you go through that, you're much more comfortable and you've built a foundation for flat-picking. And the cool thing about the academy is it's laid out in foundations. There's different levels, Foundation 1, 2, 3, and 4. When you complete a course in Foundation 1, it unlocks Foundation 2. When you complete one of those Foundation 2 courses, it unlocks Foundation 3. So there's kind of a success path built in. One of the most common questions, you log in, is like, where do I start? Well, if you go to the academy, you start on Foundation 1. As soon as you complete one of those courses, it'll unlock the next level. So it's kind of a cool, almost a self-guided foundation builder, if you will. And there's a ton of courses in there, slide guitar, technique, tune-up, guitar maintenance is in there, also finger picking, flat picking, all sorts of great stuff in there. And not to mention the third thing that I think TAC is so... I really think it's amazing, is the community, the supportive, nurturing environment of the community. It's much like the friends and comments and things that have developed here during this 10-day challenge, but kind of turbocharged within Tony's Acoustic Challenge. You've got members posting videos of their original compositions, members posting footage of them playing open mics, footage of them trying a song for the first time, and it's just kind of a talk about positive momentum. It's an amazing place to get feedback on your performance in a nice, comfortable, caring way. It's a truly unique community that's outstandingly supportive. So the reason I mention this is, again, because once this 10-day challenge is over, this stuff will go away. So I want you to make sure you have somewhere to go if you like the vibe of this 10-day challenge. If the way the teaching resonates, if it resonates with you, I want you to keep it going. So I'd like you to invite you to join Tony's Acoustic Challenge, because I think it's something that really will help supercharge your playing for sure. questions?
Lots
All right,
of stuff popping up here.
Yep,
Noah,
got
what do you have?
I got some questions coming for you.
Yeah.
I want to say I'll get to Brian's. His is a little deeper, so let's go to lesson questions first. Brian, I got you in the queue. So Claudia asks, would drop D work for this?
Let me say this. In respect to playing an E minor pentatonic scale, if you lowered that low E string to a D, it would sound a little funky because you're introducing that D note with an E minor pentatonic scale. And actually, I'll actually just show you. It's not going to sound horrible because the D note is actually part of the E minor pentatonic scale, but it's going to sound a little odd. I'll just do that high E string. So here's what that'll sound like. Sounds a little, it's weird. It doesn't have that same kind of tonality. The reason the low E string works throughout is that's the root of the scale. So if we reference the root at any point in time while we're playing the scale, it kind of ties everything together. It's like the rug. It ties the whole room together. So in terms of using drop D with this particular scale, not the best choice. However, if you were playing, say, a D major scale, then the drop D would work just fine. Well, that's an awesome question. I love the experimentation with the tunings as well.
All right. Moving on. Paul asks, what happened to the last notes of the first grouping, the notes E and G?
The last notes of the first
Grouping.
the
Do you maybe-
notes E and G. The last notes
Does that make sense at all?
of the first grouping, the notes E and G. I'm just trying to...
Do you know what that means, Noah?
Well, I wonder if he's talking about how you end. Do you end the tune without hitting some pickup notes to start it again? Paul, if you can give some clarity to that, maybe we
Yeah,
can get that going.
the reason I'm struggling with it is because that first shape we did, we actually start on an E note, and then when we hit that G string at the 12th fret, that's a G note as well. So we have an E and a G there. As you continue down the scale, you have a G note there, and then we're ending on an E. So I guess I'm a little bit, I guess I'm not clear on the question. So maybe rephrase it or try and give me a little bit more information. I'll definitely answer the question.
Okay. So Ian asks, often in blues, there's the bend. Is there any structure as to which notes should be bent and which ones shouldn't?
Yes, there's a structure. I'll tell you that what's the best way for me to put this? I would try bending every note. Okay. Blues is really all about, feeling. So yeah, I mean, we could get technical and say, yeah, when you're going from the 4th degree to the 5th degree, whoa, there's a big dog hair there. When you're going from the 4th degree to the 5th degree, yeah, you can bend that 4th degree up a half step to access the blue note. We can do that and get nitty gritty on that. But I would rather, since it's just a 5-note scale, I would really just try and bend each of the notes, even the root note. Right? Just to kind of see how it feels and what you like. It really depends on what chord you're on, the notes contained within the chord. I will say for me, I like to bend the root. I like to bend the 3rd, so that one, the 4th degree of the scale, and then the 7th. So there's actually a lot. I mean, that's 3 out of 5 notes. So I would actually experiment. Again, since it's only a 5-note scale, bend each one and see what kind of feelings it conjures, because it may work in certain contexts and it may not work in others.
Okay,
Okay, Noah, before you go on,
yes.
it's time, right? So we've got a big list of people who have joined today.
Great.
And I want to make sure...
I'm like, what's it time for?
I want to make sure to get everybody mentioned in here because a ton of people have joined today, and then tomorrow is the last chance at enrolling. And so live tomorrow, we'll be rattling off names of people who joined then. So this is very exciting. Let's kick it off with Annie C., Christopher M., Thomas M., Douglas S., Derek, Sean, Lisa, Carl, Ken, Todd, Albert, Liam, John, Brad, George, William, Ian, Chris, Mike, with a C. I like that spelling.
Nice.
Robert, Juan C. Blum, Joshua M., Marco A., Darcel F., Kevin R., Catherine S., Thomas B., Richard K., Robert M., David K., Wade R., Matt C., Andrew F., Andy R., William M., Arjun K., Glenn B., Bill M., Alberto V., Jacob S., Daniel M., Rick Swift, Joshua H., Robert W., Gary Y., Clint Wilson, Craig McDonald, Philip DeWolf, who I got a chance to talk to this morning. I'm glad Noah got you handled. Philip, welcome. Donna G. and Gary Kruger just joined a second ago. So
awesome.
Congratulations to everybody.
Heck yeah.
We've got a ton of new members. And
that's outstanding.
I want to ask you a question.
Me a question?
Yes.
I get nervous when he does this.
You know, of all the people who, watch Acoustic Tuesdays, all the people, who have been watching this 10-day challenge, all the people who are aware of you and the type of stuff that you teach, who of them should just not sign up?
Well, I will.
Tell me who shouldn't.
That's a really great question. I think if you're expecting to
specify, I think the main question is, well, what is Tony's Acoustic Challenge? Why,
Which one do you want me to answer?
Yeah. Well, I think your answers will frame this in.
So who should not sign up for Tony's Acoustic Challenge? I think if you're expecting to come into a program and in a certain amount of time achieve a level of mastery, this is not the program for you. It's also not the program for you if you don't like sharing your ideas with other people. If you don't like being supportive, if you don't like being nurturing to somebody, helping them along, offering them tips and tricks and answering their questions, TAC is definitely not for you. And I say that because the community within Tony's Acoustic Challenge is so supportive and is so positive. That's something that we as a community hold really near and dear to our hearts, and it makes it the magical place that it is. And also on that, I really don't believe in mastery of the guitar. I want to be a fantastic guitar player, as I'm sure a lot of you do. But in terms of mastery, it's kind of like chasing your tail. I really strongly believe, and I think TAC reflects this, that it's about daily improvement and daily progression, and most importantly, having fun every time you pick up the guitar. I don't want you to delay any certain level of fun because you're waiting to achieve a certain level of a technical ability. That's not fun, because that means the whole journey from here to that point that you've defined as the point where you finally mastered the guitar, that means that's probably not that fun. However, if you focus on just having fun every time you pick up the guitar, progressing daily, celebrating your small wins, that actually leads to you being a better player and enjoying the ride and the journey. And that's really what TAC reflects. There's something fun every single time you log in. There's something fun to play, and there's always a guitar geek waiting to help you out. Always a guitar geek waiting to help you celebrate your small wins. So that is exactly who TAC is for, and exactly who that's how the community came to what it is right now, and really how the whole thing, the Academy of the Daily Lessons, that's how it all came to be. Because I want you to have an enriching experience with your guitar. I want you to feel fulfilled when you play it. I want you to play it for 10 minutes a day and think, man, guitar is like a part of my life now. It's not a chore. That's exactly what I want for you, and that's exactly what I think TAC can help you do.
So Sharon just mentioned something, or I think she would actually be able to add to this anyway.
Yeah.
She says, we don't tolerate bullies, which I think also, guitar snobs, which is what you're saying. Like, this is supportive. Yeah. It's not, you're just not going to feel intimidated in any way.
Right.
It's just so the opposite of that it's just very safe and inviting and positive. So what that made me think is, and what I sort of realized, because you've gotten better and better at this over the years, but right now there is a really cool weekly sort of rhythm where you're essentially coaching offering a coaching email every Monday with really, really good stuff.
Oh, yeah,
And,
absolutely, yeah.
We focus
I
on
forgot to
small
mention
wins every Thursday and
Yeah.
reflect on what's really going well. And then we've got the monthly guitar parties. Could you go through each one of those and just kind of explain what I think
it
it's the support element.
Yeah.
That a lot of times we don't talk about, but our members talk about it.
Well,
a
yeah. I
ton.
mean, I never, in the creation of TAC and the continual development of TAC, it's never been a set it and forget it type of feeling, right? I'm logged in every single day, and people post questions under lessons every single day, and every single day I go through and answer them. It's an amazing thing because, I say the community's incredibly supportive and they help one another. The community helps me. I mean, I am humbled in the fact that I can log in and I learn stuff just by reading comments, just different way people phrase things or different perspectives people have on certain things. There's no judgment and there's no like qualification for commenting. I had a new member comment on something in one of the introductory courses, and I was like, you know what? I never thought of it like that. It was about the blues shuffle rhythm, and I thought, oh. It just made so much more sense the way that she had actually expressed it. So it's an amazing thing, and that's just one aspect of it. Levi mentioned the Monday emails, and so each week there's kind of this rhythm that happens. Kind of what you can come to expect is you'll get an email Monday morning just announcing, hey, here's what's on tap for this week. You'll also see a little reference to the calendar, what may be going on. We might have a live monthly guitar party or something like that, or a special challenge that we want you to be aware of. But the preamble, if you will, of that email is just kind of my musings on how to approach practice the best, what to do if, say, you feel like, gosh, I can't keep up with the metronome. What do I do? So I take frequently asked questions and things like that, and I kind of just throw those out every Monday just to make sure that we're all in this mindset of growth and daily progress, no matter where you're at. See, that's the crucial thing. It's not about having to be at a certain place at a certain time. It's about being exactly where you're at and knowing that when you pick up the guitar for at least 10 minutes for that day, at the end of that 10 minutes, you can walk away saying, you know what, I got better today. You might not be able to play the Star Spangled Banner with your eyes closed behind your head. That's fine. Okay, it's just about getting better every single day. So that's kind of the weekly rhythm of TAC. Did you mention something else, Levi? And I'm kind of
Thursday.
forgetting. Oh, the community. Yeah. So every Thursday you'll hear from Noah, and he does our community emails. So Noah, can you actually shed a little bit of light on what's actually contained? I know there's member spotlights, there's birthdays, it's kind of the news and things. I might have just did it for you.
Sure. Thanks. No, that's great. Well, you said that, and I was just thinking in my head, sure, yeah, I compile some stuff, but really, we all work on a lot of stuff together.
Yeah.
You're pulling that, and that's directly from the community. I mean, that's just getting the work that the community's doing for each other and getting it in front of everybody.
Right, exactly, yeah. So basically what you're going to see in that community email is definitely a note on anything that you should be aware of going on, TAC in general. Outside of that, we love to highlight members, and so you're going to see a little information on a member inside the community, and then you're also going to see a open mic post, somebody performing something and just putting themselves out there. And we have an opportunity to go and check out their tune, their song, or their cover, and encourage them and just create more goodness all around.
One of the things, just in talking about this, it's kind of jogging my memory. One of my biggest pet peeves, I don't know if I could call it a pet peeve. I just get frustrated with, you sign up for something, they're super pumped that you're there, and then all of a sudden you don't hear from them ever again. I've experienced that, and I'm not talking just guitar lessons here, I'm just talking in general. And it feels like that connection was there, and then it just poof, it was gone. But that's certainly not the case here. There's definitely weekly check-ins, at least 2 times a week, the Monday and Thursday. You have the Acoustic Tuesday show, which is just a Guitar Geek hang fest. That's super fun. And then we're always doing live events, live streams. We do one every single month where we actually give a guitar away, answer questions, and just kind of celebrate overall guitar geekery. And usually I'll kick off one of those monthly live sessions with a small mini workshop of some sort. Maybe frequently asked questions, like I did one on finger picks, how to actually put finger picks on and use them, which is one of those questions that, a lot of people have, but it's one of those questions that we're also scared to ask. I know that I was when I first was kind of experimenting with finger picks. I didn't want to ask somebody for fear that they might, judge me. So we did a workshop on that, and I love the constant contact with the members in the Guitar Geek family. So I just wanted to share some light on that as in terms of what to expect. If you become a TAC member, then what? Is it just you sign up and then nothing? No, that's totally not the case.
Thank you, Tony. So Cleet has a comment here, but I know Noah's now got a list of questions.
Oh, cool. Great.
Before he gets to his small wins.
Yeah.
So, Cleet offered a little additional insight. He says, my few days as a TAC member has been some of the greatest online experiences I have ever had. Everyone is super friendly, and the lessons are the best. So good
Awesome.
First impression to
Great.
be reported from Cleet. So thank you for saying that, Cleet. Really helps give people context. And
For sure.
we're happy to hear that you had that kind of an experience. Noah, do you have some questions queued up?
Yeah, I do.
There was a
hard.
deeper one that
Well, we're
had
going.
me
Well, it's
concerned.
we're getting into like the deep philosophy of TAC and the goodness and the connection. Then it's like, all right, back to scales and notes. Yeah, Brian actually asked what your practice schedule looks like and how has it changed, like before.
That's a great question.
Before TAC,
Yeah.
and what's your practice look like now?
Okay, that's a holy smokes, that's a great question. So before TAC, when I was, I'll say 5 years ago, maybe. Yeah, I'll say 5 years ago. I'll pick a time just so we're at a starting point. Prior to TAC, I would practice often, but it was very unfocused. It was very, it was just super. Unfocused is the best word I can think of. It was whatever I thought I needed to work on that day, I would just go ahead and work on for any amount of time. Sometimes I would just get in a little bit of time. Sometimes I would spend a long time on it. But the rub with that was that I always came away from my practice session feeling like it wasn't enough. Because I didn't really have any clear-cut goals, and I also didn't really have any time requirements. I always thought I should be practicing more, is essentially what I thought. Like, cool, I'm practicing, but I should be practicing more. And I've always enjoyed playing the guitars. It always has been an enjoyable experience for me, but it started to become this thing where I felt like I wasn't enough. Not to get, like, personal or anything, but that's a crummy feeling. And I can say that, I definitely hit a plateau, even while teaching other students, and when I started to develop TAC, and Levi and Noah and I all got together, it's funny when you start to have to try and explain your practice habits to other people. It's funny what different perspectives can offer. And within the development of TAC, it was kind of like, wait a minute. I got this all wrong. Instead of never feeling like I practiced enough, I should set myself a goal of, okay, this week I'm going to practice for a minimum of 10 minutes every day. And that's going to be enough. If I go beyond that 10 minutes, that's great. But 10 minutes is all I'm going to say I need to feel like I'm getting better. And when I focused on not trying to be the best and being like just awesome at all things, and really focused on, I got better today, I got better today, I got better today, I got better today. That's when things started to really click. And that's when the whole framework started to roll out. It was actually much easier to design that framework once I really understood the value of the minimum time requirement. Which 10 minutes doesn't seem like a lot, but 10 focused minutes is a really long time. Earlier in the week, I referenced, we were talking about warm-ups and what you should do before you practice for the day. And I said, 2 minutes is just fine. And 2 minutes is like, well, God, what can you do in 2 minutes? And I made the comment that if I put my metronome on for 2 minutes and we just sat here in silence, you'd actually really start to feel how long 2 minutes is. A little bit of a tangent here, sorry, but really that minimum time requirement was kind of the lead domino for me, because once I said, okay, 10 minutes, I've got to accomplish something in 10 minutes, I was able to list out things that I wanted to work on. From there, the categories developed. So now I can say that, okay, if I'm going to work on a song or a lick or something, that'll go in this particular practice slot for 10 minutes, and I'll do 10 focused minutes on that. Again, if I go beyond that, great. And then if I want to practice improvisation, I've got different tools and things that I play along with, and I go ahead and work on that. So I actually follow the same process that TAC follows, the day in and day out. I modify things just a little bit, but it's not very different at all, because I think that these categories are really truly the 5 essential categories of guitar improvement. From the warm-ups to the licks to the improvisation, rhythm guitar, and just understanding chords and different shapes and things like that. So my practice now doesn't look very different at all from the day in and day out of Tony's Acoustic Challenge, but before it was very wildly all over the place. It was very Jekyll and Hyde. Some days I'd feel like, I practiced for like an hour and a half. This is awesome. And the next day I was like, I didn't practice for an hour and a half. And that roller coaster ride was something I didn't love. I know that was a long-winded answer, and I'm sorry.
That's a big one.
Awesome. It's okay. Well, we're coming up on the hour deal, so I think we should roll into some small wins.
I'm happy to do that. I would love to hear some.
Okay. All right. Woo! Let's do it.
All right. Okay, so David says, my small win is finding my way to this group. If I had just scanned past the TAC post on Facebook, I would still be lost. But instead, something told me to take a chance, and I'm glad I did. Bill's small win, your lesson on mini chords last Friday made me realize I could find open chords all over the neck. Open my eyes. Thanks for the lesson, Tony.
That's awesome. Great to hear.
And then Dennis has to say, which, if you remember, I think Dennis was our number one helper.
Yeah.
When it shows those.
Is that Mr. Yonkin?
Yeah. Dennis says, small win, I've been practicing at work during my lunch hour every day.
Nice.
I can pretty much, hold on, let me get this right. I can pretty much, since I started playing 6.5 years ago. Practicing at lunch. Okay. So since joining TAC, my lunch now is due to the daily lesson. I'm really putting learning lead the last couple months to the test, and lo and behold, I know the A minor pentatonic scale.
Nice.
It was awesome soloing over Tony playing.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
And Jim's small win, just sold my first guitar to a buddy of mine, and he just joined the TAC family this morning. Nice. Welcome, Craig, to our Acoustic Guitar Geek family,
awesome.
Which I think Levi did as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I got those there. Let me jump back over to the live feed. There was one in there I wanted to get. Levi, anything popping up on your end?
You're like the assistant man with the technical plan.
I think we should go back over that top 10 list real quick. So
okay,
the top supporters, the top helpers, the top most positive and conversational in the Facebook group, and I believe a lot of these have already become members. So number 10 is John Fox. He is the 10th most helpful, awesome person in the group.
Awesome.
Number 9 is Elu. Number 10 is Ian Southall. Number 7 is Tom Bruton. 6 is Dennis Bailey. 5 is Keith Bird. Thank you for your help and your support and answering questions. Number 4 is Himanshu. Number 3 is Tony Martinez. Number 2, Will Lloyd Roberts. Number 1, Dennis Yonkin. So,
all right,
thanks guys for helping answering questions, getting
Appreciate
in there,
it.
interacting in the Facebook group. Hope to see y'all in the Tony's Acoustic Challenge membership, because that's those are the type of people that we absolutely love and really value within the membership. Just always helping people, and super fun. What do you have, Noah?
I heard 2 number 10s.
Did you?
I did.
Did you?
It went from 10 to 9 to 10 and then 7.
That would be really funny.
Well,
but nonetheless, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
I was wondering who number 9 was. I think it was. Was it Alu?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right.
All right, cool.
So yeah, we got some questions. So Derek, and this is jumping back to the lesson
Sure,
if we can
sure.
for a moment.
Yeah.
Derek asks, what are the exact notes you play on the very last scale on open scales?
Oh, the
Like-
very last scale shape.
Well, he says, I never know when I'm live or something follow up. But he's saying, yeah, what do you play on the last scale? The notes that you play on the last scale, open scales.
Yeah, so the last scale, so all of these notes, it's an E minor pentatonic scale, E blues scale. There's 5 notes that we're playing. Okay, and you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, well, there's a lot more than 5 notes that you just went over. Yes, just we're repeating in different places and different octaves. So in terms of that last sequence of notes, I'm starting, it's a G note, and then open is an E. 3rd fret of the B is a D note, and then we go to that open B. Then we play an A note on the G string, and then an open G, and then an E note on the D string. Okay, so those are our notes. If we go E to E, it's E, D, B, A, G, E. And then it actually repeats again. E, D, B, A, G, E. E, D, B, A, G, E. That's your E minor pentatonic scale. And that's true for all of these scale shapes. E, D, G, A, B, E. So it's just different locations of those notes. So hopefully that helps out naming the notes. One of the things that I'll recommend in learning these shapes is really dig into the physical shape of the scale. And almost more so than the actual note names. I'm not saying that the note names are not valuable. They very much are valuable. However, understanding the shape of the notes, really the physical shape, will actually start to allow you to move it and play it in different keys. Right? Or so there's actually a lot of ground you can cover just by learning the shape alone and committing that physical shape to memory. But the note names are there for certain if that's kind of what drives you.
All right. Let me do a little scrolly.
A little scrolly. Oh, a little scrolly.
Yeah, that was the latest one I saw.
I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better today. I really
can tell.
am.
I can tell.
I have
we
a little
were
bit more
pumped
energy.
this morning. We have a thing, right? We've made a pledge to one another that we will always roll in cheerful.
It's
Correct.
true.
Doesn't
Correct.
even matter. We leave any. I slam my thumb in the car door outside. When I come in, not even going to talk about it. It's just going to be smiles and high fives.
Or like, guys, I slammed my car, my finger in the door is broken, there's blood everywhere, and here's why that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was even better.
Oh,
Is your finger okay?
Yeah, my finger is good.
Guys, I want to feature a comment here. Hold on.
Okay.
So what I like featuring Christian's comment because I think when people are on the fence of like, should I join? It's like, what's that first impression going to be?
Yeah.
So, is it immediately obvious, like, wow, this is a good decision. This is going to be great for me. And I think Christian's take is very accurate. So I just want to read it here, and I have it up on the screen. This is what Christian wrote, like yesterday, within minutes of signing up. So, wow, I can't believe this program. I am so glad I signed up. I'm floored at how much this is helping me already. I just finished Blues 101, and I jumped into day 1 of practice plan January 2018. Then in parentheses, he says, there are practice plans all the way up to today's date, and a new one comes out every day. It's a great, it's a guitar lesson that you would normally pay $20 for anywhere else. You can download it and watch it as many times as you want. That's right, folks. I can't believe it either. I can't believe I was having second thoughts about signing up. And then I'll just sort of insert here what he said in parentheses. He was having thoughts like, I already have 5 great method books in my practice room. Why do I need this? Or, I probably know all this stuff anyway. Those thoughts would have held me back so much had I never signed up. Anyway, just thought I'd let you know about my big win. So
Awesome.
I thought that was a cool thing to share.
That's great. I didn't read Christian's post yet, but that's awesome. That's fantastic.
What? That's hard to top. Well, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Hold on. I may be topped with J. Anthony Crabtree's comment up there where he says, Tony, Levi, and Noah are genuinely great folks. Their actions reflect it. Blessed to be a part of TAC.
Thanks. That's very nice. That's fantastic.
Tony?
Oh, gosh.
Should we wrap it up?
We should wrap it up. I can give a little preview of. Well, they kind of got a preview of what to expect tomorrow, but I can shed a little light on that.
How about some insider information to add to that last comment?
Insider information.
What did he say? Something about genuine or whatever?
Yeah.
I don't know, I think he'd really appreciate some of our inside plans. This might not happen this year, but we feel like
Inside plans. I'm going to need a little bit more.
Well,
I'm going to need a little more information from
the
you.
three of us really we enjoy this so much.
I know what you're getting. Okay,
This is actually really fun. And so, one of the things that we talk about, when we get a couple sips into a nice glass of scotch is
Bourbon, actually.
Guys.
That's cool.
Yeah, so scotch. We talk about where are we going to go? We want to do the TAC tour. Mm-hmm. We want the three of us to jump in a plane and go all over the country, all over the world. We want to go to Amsterdam, get a bunch of TAC members together, get a meetup. We want to go to San Diego. We want to go to the New York, Philadelphia area.
I want to have pie in every locale that we go to.
Yeah. So
surrounded by TAC members. All eating pie, too, not just people watching me eat pie. We want to hang out with you is essentially what I'm trying to say.
Thank you.
I wasn't sure what Levi was getting at because when he says, the plans we've been talking about, there's
like
a whole whiteboard full of plans that we've been talking
Two
about.
whiteboards, one downstairs, one upstairs.
But yeah, I think it's just something that's definitely on our radar. In fact, there may be plans in the works already. There's some schedule checking that needs to happen, but we want to seriously come out and meet TAC members. So rather than have everybody come to us, which happens once a year, which is super rad and ultra fun. It's like a guitar geek mania. It's amazing. Some people can't make it, and that's okay. So we're actually going to start going to different locales where there's jam groups centered, and this way we can meet TAC members in their own environment. It's like National Geographic, but hang out and get to play guitar and just be guitar geeks together and see where you guys are at. So very excited about that. Levi was hinting at a warm place. I'll just leave it at that.
I like warm places. Can I read a comment? I mean,
sure.
Clearly, we are now digressing a little bit.
That's fine.
This is fun, but
I feel good enough to digress today.
Jim Bernth says, today's presentation was awesome. I'm going to keep focusing on continuous improvement and structured practice times. Dividends have been huge. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, TAC family. And by the way, I really appreciate what you said about guitar snobs. Snobbery ruins the progress of learning in both others and in the snob. I've met many of these snobs, and they made me feel bad about my skill level. But TAC makes me want to go get better every day, and I'm cool with that. So,
Heck yeah, that's awesime.
Yeah,
that's
that was a nice
rad.
comment.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate that for sure. That's a great comment. Thank you. So let's. I'll try and right this ship since we're kind of going. We're going in circles.
That's a high point. That's a high point.
That is a high point. So. What can you expect tomorrow? Well, tomorrow will be day 9 of your 10-day challenge. And of course, we're going to be focusing on rhythm guitar, one of the essential categories of guitar improvement. And we're actually going to learn the rhythm that I actually shared with you today, that I played for you for a backing track. But I'm going to actually show you some modifications, some ways to kind of spice it up and infuse even more blues mojo into it. So that's what you can expect tomorrow. Don't forget to share this live stream with your Guitar Geek friends. Super easy. Click on the video, then click share, and then go ahead and click post. I want to get as many guitar geeks in here as possible, having fun, having light bulb moments. And there's only 2 days left of the 10-day challenge, but more importantly, there's only 1 day left to enroll in Tony's Acoustic Challenge. So please, if you're considering that, please, if we can help you in any way, when you go to the enrollment page, there's going to be a little window where you can ask questions. We're standing by to answer questions, rather. So please, I just strongly encourage you to check that out since you only have a day left. And until tomorrow, keep on picking and have a great afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow at 11. Cheers. My name is Tony Policastro. I'm part of an underground group of acoustic guitar enthusiasts you've probably never heard of. We're not here to play face-melting guitar solos or judge other guitar players. Our purpose is much greater than that. For us, it's about expanding our quality of life through music and having fun with our guitar, not just mastering it. Getting better at guitar is proof that we do have what it takes to be a guitar player, which means we can build stronger bonds with friends and create lasting musical family traditions. But if you asked a guitar snob or a music academic, they would turn up their nose and say their way is better. Yet this way of seeing the guitar is changing lives every single day. We follow a specific framework and set of values that keeps us focused on what matters most: human connection, constant progress, and fun. It's happening, and we call it living the acoustic life. This is our acoustic life, and these are our stories.